Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Blades of Roses, a game of swashbuckling action, suspenseful intrigue, and more hydration than maybe you would normally expect, all set in the world of 7th Sea. My name is Dan McCurdy. I'll be your storyteller this evening, and let's introduce you to our fantastic players, starting with Marquis.
Hello, everyone. I am Marquis at Marquis1305, anywhere you're allowed to find me. At this point, you're not allowed to find me anywhere else. Stop looking. I play Masara O'Toole, the Inishmore princess, who does not want to talk about anything that happened in the last episode, so we're just going to skedaddle right on to Kristoff. Bye-bye!
And I am Sea Cow Explosion, most places where I can be found on the internet. I can now be found as Marquis1305, all the places that they cannot, however, just to make sure everything's covered. And I will be playing Kristoff, who is definitely going to talk about everything that happened last session. And make a lot of apologies. Salt?
I'm Salt, or Saltiest Unicorn, on the TikToks, which is pretty much anywhere, the only place you can find me at this point, kind of. Playing Smoke, or Reina Gustavo, ship captain that is very disappointed in the crew. Go ahead, Took.
First off, I did. Anyway, hello, I am Took. I'm playing the wonderful thieving blow, which I forgot his name, Juniper. No, dude. And I am at Took, I guess, everywhere that you are available to find me. And if you find me, you might see Marquis there, maybe, with a little bit of Kristoff's face, apparently. Mess.
You mean Cass?
Cass, sorry. It's been a minute.
Hey everyone, I'm Crafty Mirage, Nikki. For those who know me a little bit more personally, you can find me and on all socials at Crafty Mirage, and I will be playing Lucrecia Castille de Marquez, the person who was doing her job in the crew and saw Dad go down, ship Dad go down, and now she's feeling a little, yeah.
So, feelings all over the place. Thank you for joining us. On our previous episode, apparently I'll have to talk about it since no one else wants to. The party had encountered Delphine, the ex and pirate captain of one Smoke, who was being a little bit confrontational. People were taking different roles to try to take some of the pressure off of Captain Smoke. But just when they thought that they'd managed to walk away clean, it turns out that Verhilda, the niece of Kristoff, had been kidnapped at great cost to the pirate crew. She's not someone that you can just grab easily, and was taken out. The party then departed upon the Cerulean Tides to chase down Delphine's ship, the Blood in the Water. And as they traveled and were starting to catch up, several people had fairly interesting plans on ways in which that they could catch up. They might have enacted these plans without talking to the rest of the crew about them, and shenanigans ensued where Hilda was saved and the whole crew is alive, if only just barely, in the case of Kristoff. In the meantime, while they had been checking out the Blood in the Water, Juniper had discovered a prisoner in the cage, looking very, very badly beaten, and learned that he was one of the Storm-Kissed, a survivor of a red squall, very similar to our captain. And learning that he had to be taken out to sea or risk being captured by Delphine, he requested that Smoke end his life, saying that it would be either her or the Devil Jonah. And Smoke took him up on that request. Now, 12 hours have passed since a Fey-induced wind drove the Cerulean Tides away from the Blood in the Water. For 12 hours, the crew has been on constant watch, constant alert. Everyone at their posts, with the exception of Kristoff, Werhilda, and Cass, down in the surgery, caring for just so many wounds that he had taken at the knives of Delphine. But now dawn rises as the ship continues traveling north towards an island that has been colonized by a group of displaced Eiseners. And as the sun rises in the east, over the still beautiful fields of northern Montaigne, an important duty is to be undertaken. Because you do not leave corpses on boats. It is bad luck. It is disrespectful to all involved. Sailors belong to the salt. And the body has been wrapped in bandages. And the call goes out from the quartermaster, Jonathan, that it is time to return the body to the sea. What are we doing?
Smoke has taken a small piece, has taken a small piece off of the Crimson Sparrow, the chunk that she has, and has wrapped it on a string and put it around him, around his neck, and would have helped with the final preparations to put him under. Because, yes, there are many that are very capable of doing this. She gave him his final wish. As he is lowered into the water, she will stand at watch with any of the crew that is available, willing to stand and watch, and will speak the words to let him go home. Time to go home, dear brother. Your tour of duty through. You've given as much as anyone could be expected to. Just a few steps further, the smoke will start to clear, and Mother Ocean will guide you. You have no need to fear. You have not failed your brothers and sisters. You clearly gave it all. And through your selfless actions, others will hear the call. So take your place of honor among the salty tides, among those who have gone before you, and know you will be remembered for now and evermore. And the whistles, out of respect of a fellow sailor and a fellow Stormfist.
As you give the whistle, Jonathan steps forward. Firing crews, we're sending a sailor to Mother Ocean. Let her know he's coming. And the cannons give off a ring as they fire out over the sea. And he stands back and the body slips into the water. The weight's placed in its boots, making sure it does not float, but goes down below.
I will likely stay there. Let everyone else disperse and be there for a little bit longer. Waiting.
Jonathan goes and takes the wheel and starts giving orders for the sails to be let out again. And as the ship again takes up the wind, Smoke, you would notice ever since the flight last night, that first big push, the Tides was always a fast ship. It feels faster now. It's not a bad wind. It's certainly a useful one, but it shouldn't be this good based on what you were feeling on your face and what you were seeing in the sails is not adding up.
Gonna have to think about that one. I want to go and check in on Kristoff.
Would Kristoff have come up for the being down in the surgery, he probably would have seen the body being prepared for the burial.
I would have gone up for that.
So Kristoff is up on the deck, Verhilda kind of next to him, propping him, whether he wanted her to or not, helping him to stand.
I do believe that you have a surgery to occupy, Kristoff.
You would be right about that, Captain.
I'll take him down, Captain, Verhilda says.
I'll come with you.
Puts an arm around her shoulders and starts helping you towards the surgery.
As she is leading me away, anyone nearby would just hear the old man grumbling of all the stabbing was in the upper body. I got working legs. You can you're stronger than I'm. God damn it.
That's right. Just gonna have to accept it. You did some dumb shit.
You're not wrong. A lot of people did some dumb shit. Pretty much everybody but you and Cass. And there's a lot of apologies that need to go around. Now I'm gathering by the fact that you and I are down here first. You want to say your piece before the piece that's said in front of everybody else.
Kind of. You've been through war and monsters and understand how battle works. A lot of things happened in the last 12 hours ago. And we had many enemies, many more than everybody saw at once. I was not okay. Fulfilling his final wishes. But it was a necessary evil.
Oh, Captain, there's one thing you and I are both familiar with that I don't think a lot of other people on this boat are. And that's giving people an order that you know you're not going to see them after they carry it out.
Yep.
Now, I did basically everything wrong I could have. It somehow worked out almost all right in the end. Standing up on that deck's the one thing I can think. So you know what? If I were here, doing my job, maybe I could have made it so they weren't in so much pain that they had so much fear. And maybe we could be dropping them off on the shore right now. And that's just another in a long line of what ifs I'm going to be carrying for a long time. Well, not as long as some. Check out before too long.
You can beat yourself up with the what ifs all you want. I wouldn't recommend it. Our friend there did not have much, and then El Tiburon was circling the ship.
Are you speaking figuratively or literally?
Oh no, literally. We didn't see him, but we could hear him. At least I could. I haven't checked in with all the crew yet because we've had other things to deal with. So
I'll look having to rescue some of your missing crew.
He gets in your mind, and when he wants a sacrifice, he'll offer whatever he thinks will get you to give it to them. But it always comes at the worst price, a price too high that you're willing to pay. You think you're ready to pay for it, but it's much higher than you thought. I wasn't willing to risk the crew for that.
And that's why you're the captain.
So, choices, decisions, things were done. You can't go back and change them. The only
But
thing we
you
can
can
do is
make an example so they don't happen again.
and realize that some people's motives are a lot different than others. Delphine didn't care about any of you.
That much was obvious.
Yeah.
That's why I was planning to die on that deck.
Well, next time, don't plan to die on any deck, unless it's by my hand for being a dumbass.
Well, I will keep that in mind next time I have Junie whisk me over to the deck of a enemy pirate ship, and nope, I lost that one. Ratchet and IOU, I guess. I'm not going to say I wasn't a dumbass, because I was. And I went against everything. Where Hilda's down here, yes?
Yeah, she's still there, just kind of standing against the wall of the surgery.
And I went against everything, and I'm just going to look at her. I taught that one about soldiering.
So, Hilda, you've heard it here first. You have stories to hold over his head for the rest of his life.
You have no idea how happy his sister is going to be to hear them.
Oh, really? And you think... What do you think she's going to be happier about? Holding that over me? Or holding over you? How you made the classic tactical blunder of going back for the dead man. The fact you pulled it off has nothing to do with it. That's just dumb luck.
I managed to kill 15.
You got lucky.
Being taken.
No. You got lucky. You got lucky. You should know better. And you roped Junie into it. Poor Junie, who Mez had already roped into it, who I had already roped into it, and then you roped him into it. You owe him an apology just as much as the rest of us.
You know,
and I'm telling your sister.
Be mad at
I'm
me
going to tell your mom.
Where Hilda?
I don't think he's going to be mad at me about it.
Didn't you also take out like 10 or 15 pirates on land before they got you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think there's anything here for you, any shame here for you. You're good.
Well, you left one of them alive, so it was sloppy work.
You know, they didn't really give me time to finish.
So rude.
Pirates, I guess. Thank you, Captain, for coming after us. It's an admittedly bad habit your family seems to be in, from what I've heard, but...
Yeah, you can call it a family trait. Yours too, apparently. We would have come after you either way. There was just better ways of doing it.
I'm going to just look at Smoke. You want to get the whole... what's Jonathan call it? Command group down here? Or do you want to...
Might as well. You should be resting a little bit longer before moving around more.
What am I going to do? Die?
Well, you've certainly tried recently.
Yeah.
I did, and I learned my lesson.
Did you?
We only have so much supplies on hand. Just saying.
Supplies that I might add are mine.
Uh-huh.
All right, now show me how I'm supposed to patch up some of these properly. And she'll pull out of a mirror from her pack and start pulling up the bandages that she and Cass had placed, and then showing you your own wounds for the best advice on how to take care of them.
Oh. Well, my first recommendation would be that Your ex needs to take better care of her knives. Those are just not clean cuts. I would say those are actually extremely painful. And
Kind of the purpose.
Hildy, girl, I love you dearly. You have the hands of a swordswoman.
It's a really good thing Cass was down here to help me. Or I can't even imagine the pain you'd be in. And she's
I'm assuming the one that sutured up with the nice little flower embroidery, that was probably Cass then.
She gives an accidental pat to an arm and just not the right place.
Not saying I didn't deserve that, but
I'll go up and while they're having this and talk to Jonathan and just ask him to call out for the command crew to go below deck. And anybody below deck, I will kick up above deck.
All right. Your Highness, Juniper, Miss Cass, Captain wants to see you all below in the surgery, I believe.
Castle.
What have you all been doing since the funeral or even during it?
I think Cass, she would have watched the whole proceeding of a seaside, like a funeral at sea. And before, when everyone dispersed and smoke dispersed too, she probably would have just said a small prayer because she is of the Vaticine faith. She probably would have said a small prayer for the fallen. And but otherwise, she probably just would have just stuck by the rails because she saw that the captain go down with Kristoff and with Werehilda, and she is not touching that with a 9-foot pole.
All right. Mez?
You see, Masara decided to disappear as best as she could. I do not wish to be perceived.
So she's in her room? All right, so you're in your room, and you can hear the proceedings going on. It's everyone speaking clearly and everything, and just sitting on your bed.
Aye.
They're funny, aren't they? These mortals.
What are? They certainly can be. Aye.
Do you like the wind?
It was a good touch. Thank you.
The ship took to it. I think it likes it. I think it's keeping some of it. Don't worry, that's between me and the ship. That's not on your bill.
Right. Well, so long as you take kindly to the ship, aye?
Oh. She's a fun girl. Now, we did not make a proper arrangement. You seem to be in a bit of a rush.
A little bit of one.
And there's no image. The voice seems to come from different directions all over the place, as if, though you do feel your room is unexpectedly drafty, and it's as if wind is just sort of swirling around you and occasionally forming. It's not often I get that kind of recommendation. He doesn't like talking to us much.
Does he know?
No. So, the time's going to come when I'm going to need a favor from you.
That seems to be the way of it.
Those are pretty. And the petals of the heather start to move as if being blown by slight air. I'll be in touch when the time comes. Lots of interesting things where you're going. It might not be very long.
Then I suppose I'll be there when you call.
Is there anything you'd like to consider out of bounds?
My friends. My family here.
The one up high.
Aye.
She is resistant. She doesn't know it. Keeps us at arm's length, similar to you.
That is the way of some of us.
Strange. But fine, that's reasonable. Not your friends.
That includes my family back home.
You don't think of them as friends?
Their blood.
Fine. But be careful. Others play a lot meaner than me.
I'm well aware of the fact. It was not my intention to have done what I did, but I owe you, and I'll pay my debts.
All right, of course you will. Her line always do.
So it would seem.
Be careful. They want you. And then you hear Jonathan's call.
Right, so we're just going to put that in the do not talk about that file, and we're going to go and talk to the rest of them. Got it. Aye, be on my way.
What's Juniper up to during the funeral?
He's just sitting in his room, not talking to anyone, not necessarily hiding like Mez, but he doesn't want to talk to nobody. Maybe except Jonathan. And he's just been looking at that fucking ring, trying to figure out why he can't unsmudge it, why he can't unconnect to it, and also sitting there with like 50 fucking bandages because he lost 90% of his blood. But that is besides the point.
And your wounds have always healed faster than normal people's, and though you haven't had the benefit of Kristoff's help yet, given the state he's been in, and so you're a little more hurt than you've been used to being of late, and you're just there, and you're kind of toying with the ring, and then for a second you feel like you hear a voice. Juniper.
Oh, hell no. He's just kind of looking at the ring. At this point, he feels like he probably just be crazy to a certain degree. And he'll just close his eyes, just shake his head.
Voice goes away.
He's gonna get up and throw the ring against the wall and just scream.
All right. He is like a wall away from the surgery, and in almost no time, Verhilda bursts in. What's going on?
Hell. No, man. Nothing.
You screamed because of nothing.
Yes, I screamed. What do you want? And he'll go over and grab the ring and put it back around his neck.
To know why you screamed. We're being chased by monsters and pirates and sea witches, and you apparently can use your blood to teleport.
Yeah. Any more obvious assumptions?
You know what the first lesson in Eisen is?
No.
If it's scary, run. The monsters are real. If you pretend that they're not, they catch you. I know in Montaigne and Castille, they would say it's nothing, stiff upper lip, but we assume it's all real until given reason not to. So tell me, why not? Why scream?
And as he's putting the ring on, by the way, he's shirtless, by the way.
And she's unbothered.
Too many bandages, shirt hurt, just not dealing with that. I'm frustrated. I'm irritated. I could have killed my friends, people I care about. I'm also very pissed off at a certain person, but that's besides the fucking point.
You're new to this.
Unfortunately, no.
New to a
what
team.
you're talking about. There you go. New to people that I like, shall I say, extremely care about. Not new to a team necessarily.
Well, if you ever feel like talking about it, your lips are soft anyway. And she walks out. And you hear Jonathan yell.
Fucking and he'll go put a shirt on.
You all gather in the surgery and see the most severe they've ever seen Smoke look. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, it's not angry, fuming type thing. It's leaning against the bulkhead, arms crossed, just waiting for everyone to come in there.
Everyone gathers. Mm-hmm. It's not a huge surgery, so everyone's sort of shoulder to shoulder.
Plus, there's all the supplies that are being stored in there on top of the regular medical supplies.
Which is why I pulled everyone in there.
I'm small and hide.
And Verhilda does not join. She goes up above.
Do I happen to have any inclination that she is skipping out?
Other than that, she doesn't walk into the room.
Knowing that she probably ran out of the room after Junie screamed, because I'm sure we all heard that. If I see Junie walk in and she's not right behind him, I'm just going to yell, Hildy!
She sticks in her head. What?
Think you're getting off that easy? You may be able to whoop my ass in a fight, but I will still beat your ass like my niece.
In all honesty, Hildy doesn't need to be here.
Thank you, Captain.
Just means it's you and I later.
Fair enough.
Young lady.
And she smiles and walks away.
The entire time, though, that whatever Smoke is going to do, what she's going to do, Cass is going to double check bandages and everything on Kristoff. I'm pretty sure that too that when Hildy accidentally hit him, it probably would have started some bleeding. So she's probably going to change that bandage.
I would love to ask what the hell all that was, but what that was a shit show. So I'm going to make this very clear. On land, I defer to whoever is in charge. Sometimes that is Mez, sometimes that is Kristoff. It depends on who is needed for the situation. On ship, I am the captain. And harebrained schemes that could potentially get people killed or people are planning to sacrifice themselves for have to be run through me, because you do not understand the power of being sacrificed on the ocean. You think you're doing a great thing when in all actuality you are feeding a greater evil that could be circling us at any moment, especially with that bitch following us. You don't know all of the things that one worships. And I'm going to kind of feel for where Bruce is and feel that she's probably like, you know how the whole directional sense and distance, feel that she's like actually moving further away from us. At this exact moment, she's moving away from us. But we're going to need to change some directions. And we're going to need to go to some other places. Anyone else want to explain? Does everyone else understand?
Kristoff is going to look at Junie, look at Mez, and if neither of them speak up, I can explain the situation pretty simply. Mez did what we all knew she would do, which is emotionally manipulating Junie to try to save Hildy. Which is about what we all expect. Mez, you probably owe Juniper an apology for emotional manipulation. And I probably owe both of you an apology because I both saw what you were doing and what it did to him and decided to do something dumbass myself and take advantage of that situation to try to get my dumb old ass killed so y'all didn't have to worry about me, but you could run off with my niece, who's definitely an upgrade from my situation.
I don't want to ever hear about somebody else being an upgrade to you, Kristoff. At this point, your years of experience, your combat abilities are far, far worth every bit of your person. My frustration comes down to you guys acted without realizing we had more enemies. So let's just back this up for a second and give the other scenario. Had you brought this information to me, said, hey, we could use Junie's blood magic, we could jump on there. In seconds, I would have told you, okay, well, he can only go as far as he can see, which means we could have him port with me. On the back end, we could have stopped the helm and locked it into a circling position. Jonathan could have steered us to match up so that everyone could have jumped on that ship. I could have held off Delphine. That's what she wanted. She wanted to play. There would have been plenty of time for everyone to get on there and everyone to get off. And instead, yeah, she lost a whole lot of crew. All of you are alive, barely. I'm guessing more deals or whatever. That definitely wasn't the O'Bannon. But that was definitely something else. I've been on the sea long enough to know something else went in those sails. And it wasn't.
Kristoff is definitely going to get a look at that and then shoot a look at Mez, but not say anything.
And I don't care what deals you have to strike, Princess. You're the one that's going to have to pay them. But don't be so willing to tip your hand.
How do we know it was her?
Do you have a Fae King?
No, but I heard something while I was in the crow's nest.
There you are, Kristoff.
How do we know it was her? It could have been anyone on the ship.
Let me guess. It was promising you something you really wanted in exchange for our man that we just released to the sea.
It was saying it could give me answers in exchange for the man that we threw into the ocean.
That was El Tiburon. He could sense a sacrifice was nearby.
A shark?
The shark. Think of him as like a... If you get sacrificed to El Tiburon, your soul never makes it to the other side. You live in torment. It's a gateway to hell. And that's what he was asking for.
I didn't listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
But how do we know that you're blaming Mez real quick? But we could have been anyone. What if someone made a deal with that thing?
You're right. I am blaming Mez really quick. Mez? You're being awfully quiet.
I did what I had to do in order to get us to Kristoff. It was not something that I expected to be able to do. It was a moment of desperation. And yes, there is in fact going to be a deal that's made, and a price that I need paying. I will be the one paying it, and I've already ensured that.
I'm angry because I care about all of you. And I'm angry in particular. No, not angry. I'm disappointed. Sad. Because you don't believe so much in the creatures that surround you, yet you're willing to make deals with them. And I have lived a life on this ocean, dealing with far nastier creatures that make deals. And I am concerned that you're going to get in over your head. But I'm not going to run your life. Nobody could. But I am captain on this ship. Next time you think you're going to need to make a decision, run it past me first.
You were busy captaining, as you should have been, getting us there. The entirety of my plan was to get in, make sure that Junie and Hild got out.
Misara, that doesn't make sense. It would have just been giving one captive for another. We would have still gone after the ship.
You would have gone after the ship. I knew that. But Hild would have been here. And if you had to turn about, more people are willing to come after me.
You have to know your enemy to know if that's going to work.
The enemy wanted ye.
Yeah?
Above all of us. I would have at least given her something to toy with. A distraction for the moment, to buy ye time.
She would have killed you as soon as she was done playing with you and come right back after me.
And it would have given you the time necessary, while giving stability to Eisen in the way that Hild can. My line has other heirs.
Kristoff is going to just slap his hand down on the table and then probably immediately regret that, making his yelp of pain be the thing that breaks that moment far more than the attempt to make a loud noise.
Cass is going to check on that.
We can ignore how dumb that was for a moment. Captain, requesting permission to interject myself, perhaps beyond my station on this ship for a moment. Mez, you're worth a hell of a lot more than that. You're also a lot smarter than that. On the flip side of that, I'm a lot smarter than that, and I did the same damn thing. But there is one difference between the two of us. You could be a goddamn queen.
Which is why I know exactly how much I am worth. In coin that is willing to be paid in ransom. That is capable of being paid in ransom.
Which is why can you just this once maybe accept that I know what I'm saying when I say you can't throw yourself away like that? And there would definitely be a heavy pleading in Kristoff's eyes with that statement.
I will not allow ye to sacrifice yourself for me. Ever. However, you have a point. And Juniper, it was not fair of me to do as I did to you. To ask you to pay that price as well.
The final point that I'm making is that none of us should be sacrificing ourselves ever. I wasn't going to sacrifice myself. I knew that I was the proper bait to give all of you the time. So, on the ship, I have final say. Off the ship, that is all you. And at that point, Smoke will actually turn and walk right out of the surgery and go straight to her cabin and start plotting some charts, because we are going to be course correcting after we drop this load.
Cass is just kind of just keeping her head down for the most part because it's very tense and it's making her a little uneasy. But she's going to be just mindless, like just either checking Kristoff's bandages, Juniper's bandages, or literally organizing anything that looks like it needs organizing, even if it already looks organized.
Cass, you're about the one person in this room that probably shouldn't have their head down.
She just kind of looks up and is literally like you've never looked. It's like a deer in the headlights sort of look. She's just kind of just unsure of what to say in this moment.
We were dumb. You did your job. And that's really the end of it. If we weren't good friends with the captain, the end of it would probably be off of a plank.
See, you were dumb. You put all of us in a very bad position. Two of you could have died. She's looking.
Three, actually.
Three of you could have died. Thank you for the correction. One of them, and she's going to look at Junie, is supposed to be someone I am responsible for, who can't seem to say no when you know that the cost sometimes isn't worth the price. And all of you seem to not realize that for a team to work, you need to communicate and listen to each other.
There's a knock at the door, and leading there is Verhild. And she smiles at all of you. You remember the first ranging I took, Uncle?
If I'm being honest, no, that was a long time ago.
We made about every mistake we could make. Ended up being chased with half of the undead of Tanner Fields behind us. And I was about ready to never try to command troops again. And what
That sounds more familiar.
Was that I was lucky to be alive. That luck was half of it. Learn the lesson. Get better. But you're alive. And having seen what I saw, it's damn near a miracle itself. Now, it's a beautiful day. You especially, Princess, I think could use some sun.
If you would so insist, my dear. And Masara will turn around and walk away without another word.
Princesses never like being told they were wrong. Then again, neither do some peasant men I know. So, maybe we all have more in common than we thought. You all right, Junie?
He just turns and just leaves the room.
I think that's a no.
Well, it should be a fun week or so for the rest of the way to the island. Let's see how it goes. All right. Who's getting up to what over the course of the day as we sort of go into travel time?
So, I'm going to have a conversation with Jonathan later that evening. Like, in about a day, we need to organize something fun on this top side of the ship. That was a lot. That was heavy for all of the crew. Whether it be music and storytelling or having some mock battles for people to stretch out, get their anger out. You see what the crew needs.
I'll talk into it. Should be fairly easy seas for the next couple of days, but once we make the turn into the Maw, things get interesting. So I'll be working on it.
We're also going to be changing course. Instead of heading back towards Castille, we're going to be heading south.
Labuca.
Yeah. There's some there's some business that needs to be done down there.
All right. I'll get. How loud are you being about that? Keep it quiet for now.
Wait until after we've left the island. Most everyone here is not going to have a problem. Possibly the command crew, but I'll deal with that.
So you know, that little stunt that Juniper and Kristoff pulled, and that Juniper and Mez were going to pull before Kristoff interfered. Crew's been talking about it. They're impressed at their drive, a little perplexed at their strategy, but impressed at their ability. It's good to know you've got talented people like that for when things go bad. And word of how you all take care of those who are working for you well, our cook brought that over from the base of Serena. They're just impressed. Your crew have unique abilities, and they need to learn to follow your lead, obviously, at least aboard ship, but not gonna lie, right now, I'm pretty sure this crew would sail with you all anywhere. And given how little time we've had to work, that's saying something, ma'am.
My ire wasn't their abilities. I appreciate all their abilities. I appreciate their drive and their desire to keep everyone safe. But it was the not understanding that there was more at stake, that there was different things in play because the time wasn't taken. I've already said my piece. I'm not going to bring it up again. But that's also why I want something fun on topside for in the next day or so, because everyone needs to unwind after all of that. I'm sure that the rest of them will get it.
We've got some musicians in the crew, some instruments. It's a bummer we weren't able to re-up the rum when we made our stop, but we still have some. We might just blow through the ration for the rest of the trip and hope that this island we're going to can have something for us to fill up with there.
One can hope. They'll have something, hopefully.
What do Eisner's drink?
Mead?
Beer, maybe?
Hopefully it's not a grog.
We'll have to
I don't
find
know.
out.
Yeah.
And so he's like, you've got a good crew on you, ma'am. They're not used to command. Well, the princess is used to command. She's used to being on the other side of it. So
She'll get there. Again,
I think so.
I'll follow her lead anywhere if needed on land. I just need them to trust me on the ship.
Aye. Well, I've got the night shift. Get some rest if you can.
Will do. Thank you, Jonathan.
Ma'am. And he heads out. Mez is sticking to her lonesome. Is Cass getting up to anything?
Yeah. So Cass is looking over, still going, because there's a lot of them. There's a lot of wounds. So Cass is doing due diligence, looking over them. I'm sorry for the little flower in this stitch, but I only know how to sew because of embroidery and habits.
If I'm being honest, it's the prettiest wound I've ever had to worry about healing, so not too upset. Good suture too.
Thank you. I try to do my best. I'm not as experienced as you are, but when your father and brothers are in the Inquisition, they come home with wounds sometimes, and I learned how to at least help patch them up a little bit. Change a bandage here and there. Never had to sew someone up though. This was a first.
Well, it's part of the process. Bandages are the basics, sutures, and it starts getting a little bit more involved from there once you start treating things that aren't just holes in people that are bleeding.
Yeah,
the holes in people that are bleeding are pretty complex. The cuts are usually relatively simple to take care of.
And she looks at all of the supplies that you would have in the surgery and just kind of like look intimidated by all of them. Yeah, I wasn't going to touch any of that. Because,
why not?
I wouldn't have known what to put on you, and you were unconscious for some of it.
You think I knew what to do when I started?
Probably not, but you weren't awake, and I wasn't going to start experimenting.
I'm just going to point over at the Zweihander that I just assume is probably over in the corner of this room somewhere. You think they give that sword to the medics most of the time?
Probably not.
They train me to to break montane pike formations. I just happened to be good enough at it that I lived long enough to pick other people up that had a bunch of holes in them from those montane pike formations. One of those happened to be the person that was supposed to be patching the holes in the people from said montane pike formations. You stop the bleeding, you take care of most people that need help.
And you say a little prayer over it, so like it's like my mommy, she taught me how to do something. You just like start rubbing the sore spot, and sana, culito de rana, and all better.
Kristoff is just gonna laugh. No offense to the faith, but
Oh, that's not faith. That is literally a prayer. If you translate it from Castilian, it's like heal the ass of a frog.
that's not the nicest thing I've been called, but far from the worst. I'm just saying, I've seen a lot of people pray to make it better, and well, if the prophets were going to offer, they'd probably do it for somebody that didn't throw their iron cross into a river going on 20 years ago.
Probably.
But you know what you're doing with a wound. So why don't we teach you what's going on with all those jars on the wall?
She'll look at them. She'll look a little interested. Probably not the worst idea, considering that
Next time I get my dumbass killed, they're going to need somebody to put them back together. Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
probably one of us should probably know at least some basic stuff just in case.
And I can teach you some things that you won't learn outside of Eisen.
Like
Not
what?
those things that you won't learn outside of Eisen. I'll teach you first aid. Oh, hell.
Okay.
Meanwhile, out on the deck of the ship, it's getting later, and as the ship is plying through even waves under the stars, where Hild has her sword out and is just doing some basic training motions. Nothing too terribly overt. It's been a time that she and Mez have fairly regularly been getting together and practicing over the course of this trip. She kind of glances over at Mez. Is that a royalty thing?
Is what?
There's this thing you're doing where you're raising your chin slightly and looking like you're going to run it through the next brick wall you see.
Not entirely certain that's a royalty thing so much as a O'Toole thing.
Thank you.
For nearly killing your uncle. Not certain that's something you need to be thanking me for.
Well, for doing it to save me for him. Did I pick that up?
Aye.
I've been surrounded by so much stupid. And people doing the dumb thing to save someone. Do that in Eisen too often, and all you do is add 2 walking corpses instead of the 1. But the thought was well meant. And I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm good with a charge of ghouls. I'm good at making sure that knuckle-headed soldiers understand what orders they're supposed to follow. Duchess, commander of the Western Legion, hasn't been a Western Legion in a generation, if not more. I imagine you're making some of this up as you go too. Unless there have been an abundance of warrior princesses of Inishmore that they're just not telling stories about for some reason.
It's entirely possible. No. And I was not raised to lead or to command. I was raised to marry.
So here we are.
Here we are.
No one ever thought that I would marry for politics. And no one ever thought you'd be the warrior princess. Our worlds seem to have collided.
It's not always so bad, I'm told.
No.
The marrying for politics.
I wouldn't know.
Occasionally. Occasionally people even like each other.
He's not a bad sort. We discussed the possibility of not doing it this way, but when you need the other nobles to listen to you, apparently sometimes nobles only listen to nobles.
That they do, and even then, sometimes you have to have certain pieces.
Pull your sword out.
She does.
And she walks up alongside you. There's this thing you're doing. And I don't even know that you're aware of it. Here, and she switches to her her smallest sword, sort of a cutlass. I'm going to go for an upward swing. Give me a riposte. And she comes in. How long have you been doing this?
About 5 years or so?
And you were even smaller when you started, yeah?
Aye.
She walks up alongside you and squeezes the shoulder muscles. You're not as small as you were then. When you swing, you're compensating. You're trying to get additional momentum because you don't trust your own strength to carry the blow. But that has diminishing returns with the rapier. But your shoulder and your upper arm, they're stronger than you think. Trust your wrist to do the work. It'll be faster. You're stronger than you used to be.
I'm a bit more used to dodging than I am swinging. Get under their guard, hit them where it hurts.
Means you're not so good when they're under yours.
No, never quite got good at that part. That's why I favor the lunge.
She laughs. I might have to be apologizing to Juniper.
I think quite a lot of us are.
I might have cheated in talking him into helping.
I did much the same, though I imagine in quite a different fashion.
If you're curious, he's a good kisser.
Not curious? You see, there's a line where I don't need to know things about certain people.
Never curious. Specimen like that.
No, it's, what is it that Leon would say? Spent so long focusing on the fact that I already knew I was going to be sold away that I never thought to see anyone. For the most part.
All right. Well, in the weeks to follow, I'm going to have to be getting my hair quite a bit more up than I'm used to it being. Do me a favor. Let yours down. I'm not saying go make out with boys to convince them to do stupid plans, but
I don't know that I can.
you're safe with this crew.
This crew's making me realize that at some point or another I'm going to have to go back.
You're not wrong.
If only for the fact that some of them are going to need protecting. Aren't very many places where we can be doing that.
When it comes to protecting, you can do worse than a queen.
Not entirely certain that's where I'm going to be ending up. For all I know, they're going to be marrying me off to an Avalonian.
And they already have a queen, don't they?
They do at that.
All right. And she just continues with the training. Anyone else have anything else? Junie, anything you were going to want to get to for the night's up?
Kristoff wanted to cut in at the end of that.
All right. So yeah, they're training and Kristoff shows up.
As is Kristoff's way. Nighttime above deck is where he belongs. Does not matter how many damn injuries he has. It's the closest thing to reminding him of home is the cold night sea. Passing by where Hilda on the way. Just going to lean in. Just so you know, it's kind of like kissing your cousin. And then just walk right past her.
Didn't need context on that.
Nope.
Fair.
And take up my normal spot at the...
He does realize that royalty does the kissing cousins thing, right?
Are you actually saying that to me? Well, taking up my spot at the back of the ship, resting on the railing. She's new to this.
Which she are you talking about?
Hard to say. Wasn't trying to listen. I was just heading up for my night air.
Then you should be getting it.
I am. Turn around. Lean back against the railing. I don't know how to say this in a way that I think you're going to be, I don't know, wanting to hear, receptive to. What is Mez's posture at the moment? Back in Ice Queen mode?
Back in Ice Queen mode. Just mask immediately goes back on.
In which case, Kristoff is just going to walk over to her and give her as big and all-embracing of a hug as he can in his current state. And wait until I can feel that mask maybe eventually melt.
And what is this for?
No daughter of mine does any damn thing that she doesn't choose to do her damn self. It doesn't matter whether that's a marriage or any other deal. Doesn't matter what blade made of Draconison we need to dig up from the ground. It doesn't matter who's in the way. This is your life. Your choice. And you have the same freedom as long as I draw breath that Hildy does to make the choices you want to make.
You're wrong.
We'll see.
There are some prices that can't be avoided.
Bannon, whatever it is that's tangled up in our sails, suitors that your parents have chosen for you, which one?
All of them?
Well, it's about to suck for them.
Kristoff, you cannot. There is a difference between yourself and myself.
I've been hearing that from nobles all my life.
And this is the reason why.
Hey, you know what I've learned from you? You're just as dumb as the rest of us fucking are.
I'm well aware of that.
But you got a heart twice as good as anyone else I've ever met. You got strength. You got pride. I'm going to belabor the point because you ain't ready to believe me. But unless you decide I'm not part of your life, then I'm going to make sure you get to live yours. And with a deep breath, I'm just going to start slowly hobbling my way back below deck.
Mez will kind of just stand frozen where she is. She's not entirely certain how to take that or how to respond at this point. Just... There's going to be a point where I have to choose.
And that's the point. You're choosing it. And as long as it's your choice, I'll be at your side. As long as it ain't nobody else's.
And you're going to have to accept when I make that choice, whatever it becomes.
If it's your choice.
Hi, well, in that case, I have to be off to bed and you have to be healing some.
Happens a lot slower at my age, but I'll do what I can.
Right, well, I'm going. Just turns and scuttles her way away. She's like, no, those are emotions, no.
Ruined a perfectly good bad mood.
The night goes uninterrupted. And in the morning, it's another beautiful day. The air is definitely starting to take on a chill. The ever-constant warmth of the seas to this point, giving way to cooler sea air. Certain crew members start changing into some clothes. The spray of the waves has an extra chill to it, too, that doesn't, for those who are regularly working above deck, not always the easiest to shake, but most of the crew is prepared for it, and some bring out some extra jackets and stuff like that for command crew members who maybe need a little bit more, particularly poor Cass up in the crow's nest when she's on duty. Actually, that would be I forgot the name again. The boy in the top.
Timothy.
Timothy and Tufts come up to Cass and be like, "Ma'am, you're gonna want this.
Is it so cold?
It's only gonna get colder. We're heading into the maw.
You mean it's gonna get colder?
It's always colder up there. We're going north.
No me gusta.
Just be glad we're not sailing to Vestin Yamar.
Where?
Well, not too far south of it. Anyway, and as all this is getting set up, you all notice as you're moving along that the crew, which usually is up and down in shifts to kind of keep things going, some more have come out. A keg, the last keg of rum, has been brought out and kind of set up and has been corked. And a few of them start strumming instruments. And the song and the singing that is always accompanying the Cerulean Tides as it sails strikes up a bit more of a merrier tune. And even the folks who aren't on duty are above, and they just start clapping and laughing and dancing and moving. It's a beautiful day. The sailing is fairly easy, and a mood of celebration has taken the crew. What are we doing?
Cass is watching from the crow's nest and just smiling a little bit because it's nice to see.
Where's Junie at?
Hands.
What was that?
Where's Junie at? Have you joined the Merriments, Junie, or are you still hiding in your room?
Nope, he's still in his room.
I'm gonna go over and talk to him.
All right.
Knock on your door.
He doesn't say anything. He just walks over and opens the door. I'm assuming it's been a couple days, and he has not shaven. No, just one day. Okay. He still look like shit.
At least the bandages look fresh. You're still checking in with Kristoff?
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna hide in here for the rest of the voyage?
Not hiding, more like not leaving.
Some would say those are the same things.
Exactly. Well, you can come on in. Warning, it smells like angst and must in here. He turns to go back to fucking with the ring on his finger.
You know, been on ships my entire life. There's nothing in here that's gonna bother me. Other than the fact that one of my friends is choosing not to come up and enjoy the last bit of rum until we can make port.
Right. Weren't you the one who said water?
I did, because at the time we needed water. Now it's rum.
And then he just turns behind the bed and pulls out a mug of rum. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I did leave. Okay, fine. I'm hiding. Whatever. Okay.
People make mistakes, Junie.
Yes.
But I don't think that's why you're here.
No, it's not. I don't fucking care about that necessarily. It's just, I don't know. Thinking about the fact that a lot of people who have said certain things to me are right.
That you have a big heart?
No, that I'm a fucking idiot. that uses magic willy-nilly.
That you care about everybody else around you, even though you try and put up a big old facade of being the big bad thief who cares about no one, nothing.
I wouldn't necessarily call myself a big bad thief. Granted, that would be an amazing title. I wouldn't be upset about it necessarily, but I don't know. I'm barely pissed off, but I also am very concerned, and I don't know how to deal with it. So, and he holds up the rum and just get to drinking it.
So the real question is, what are you concerned about? Keep fiddling with that ring.
I'm concerned that people keep trying to help me when I haven't asked for help. But did I not? I never asked for it. I just accepted it, and then I thought maybe if I just went along and I'll just find another group to hang out with. But then I found out that I fucking love all of you fucking idiots, So it's really hard to try to separate and just abandon and then leave. And then when someone that you care for asks you to do something stupid, you fucking do it. And then you get lectured a lot by multiple people that also love you, because the one that you care for was the one who made you do the stupid shit.
So what I'm hearing here is that it's been a long time since you've been in a family.
Smoke. I've never been in a family.
Oh, then you're going to need to get used to it because we've claimed you.
No, like a stray puppy, huh?
Only you choose to be a stray puppy.
Stray puppy that knows blood magic. You know how terrifying that is. Bark, bark, disappear.
I have fought sea monsters. Do you think a little bit of teleportation is going to really scare me?
At first I was like, maybe she's fibbing just a tiny bit, and then you fucking wasn't. So honestly, that's really terrifying. I want you to know that, huh?
Yeah.
But the bottom line is that I'm scared, and apparently it runs in my family that you run, so I can't necessarily jump off the fucking ship. So I'm in my room.
I mean, you could, but I'm not ready to sacrifice another one to El Tiburon or anyone else at this point. So please don't.
No.
On the other side of it, there is more rum up there, so you could keep your small stash to last you the next couple of days. There's music. And you're not the stray puppy. You have a seat at the table with everyone else. Besides, if I don't pull you out of this room, who do you think the next one's going to be?
Kristoff.
It could be any one of them.
I know who's going to come down here. Then she's going to give me the smile. Oh, here's money. Here's rum. Cheer up. I didn't mean it. Fucking. And the big one with the sword. Mwah, here you go. Feel better. Like that's gonna fucking fix everything. Angry drinks his stash again.
When you are comfortable enough to have a conversation about what's really scaring you, come to the quarters. Again, I have faced down sea monsters and angry exes. Right? So there's not much out there that could be scarier than what I've seen. Maybe we can help you.
Maybe, but honestly, as much as you've seen monsters, I've seen unimaginable ghosts and people who shouldn't be able to do things that they do. And I've been running from it my whole life. I'm fucking tired of running.
So Smoke will pull the cuff up and start playing at her wrist a little bit. And watch Bruce come running up, sitting on her arm right there in front of Junie. You see Bruce here?
I'm seeing that you have a fucking magic tattoo that you said, but I am now seeing. So, yes, that.
Bruce was a gift from Delphine. Yes, I'll feed you in a little bit. Tells me where she's at. Kind of. Was not a choice to have. Again, seeing things that people should not be able to have or do. I'm just saying you're not the only one with unique proclivities on this ship.
I'm going to pretend like I know what the fuck proclivities mean. But I'm assuming I'm not the only one that is into a spooky shit. As you know, Cass would say. Spooky. I don't know. Shit, I think I've been in fucking Castille too long.
I'm gonna go topside. I should be seeing you there in the next 5 minutes. Unless you want me to put you in the crow's nest.
Fuck no, man. It's too much heights. I don't know. All right, sure. I'll see you in 5 minutes.
Smoke will walk out. No, 5.
10. Fuck, fine.
And then she just walk out and go join the festivities.
Festivities are in full swing. It's not often the crew gets not just permission, but actually an order from the captain to have a good time, and they are leading full into it. Everyone's being gentle with the rum because no one wants to be the reason why someone else doesn't get any. But they're all drinking, they're all dancing, they're all playing music. Some of it is the various songs that they've been playing with Mez's practicing that they've sort of picked up as times have gone. Some have been some songs that they picked up in Castille. And so some songs that Cass would know and recognize. What are folks getting up to? Yeah.
Who's in the crow's nest right now? I'm going to make Timothy help me get up into the crow's nest so that both of the people normally on crow's nest duty can go down and have fun. Because at the very least, Kristoff will definitively enjoy the fresh air, and these kids need to act like fucking kids for a second.
Wait, Timothy, just here, and Smoke will makeshift a seat so that it could be thrown over to be hoisted back up so that he doesn't have to try and climb it.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. I've got this. I've built that break enough time. I can maybe do this.
All right, so this is you are stubbing your way up a rope ladder. You're not used to climbing, so I'm going to go for this is very definitely a risk. Let's go your resolve and your athletics. As
Can I
you
use
mind
this by holding the ladder up top to keep it steady somehow?
There's no ladder.
Oh
It's-
no.
It's just
rigging. It's all
No.
rope ladder.
Mhm.
I get +1 bonus die to all risks right now.
Yep, and
it's
your
a good thing.
flare, and one for flare.
Yeah. That's 6 raises.
Dang! All right, Kristoff just hopping on up like it's nothing. Like, and it's not pretty because this is resolved. Like this is clearly a man who starts kind of goes, oh yep, didn't think about. Oh right, yep. You know, like when you got wounds and your skin just keeps stretching because you keep doing motions. It's like, and you're like trying to somehow do it without climbing more, but no, you're gonna do it, and all of a sudden, Cass, up there with you in the crow's nest is Kristoff.
What are you doing?
I'm taking over the crow's nest.
You have like 15 wounds in you.
And none of them are in my eyes.
I'm not going to try to argue with you, but please just and she'll like hand over the blanket that she was given.
I don't need it. I'll keep it in case I need it.
Well, I'm going to need it up here still even when I come back. So
Well,
I
then
need to
just
stay.
leave it up here. The roll will keep you warm down there, and the blanket can keep you warm whenever you get up back up here. And I can promise you that I'm fine until it comes to the part where I have to climb back down.
That's when I'm gonna help you. No arguing.
Okay.
Yes, Captain.
And Cass will very easily go on down, like rope slide down, because she's done it a few times and it's fun.
Yep. You're getting better at it now too, and you slide down no problem. It looks cool, and people cheer as you hit the ground. And actually, Timothy would come up and be like, "Care to dance?"
Nice.
Okay. And she'll dance with him.
All right.
And as Cass takes the field to start dancing, Masara starts singing out what is usually a very bawdy tavern tune. But she'll just start, getting everyone to clap in time and then sing the songs that Leon has definitely taught her over time.
Yes.
All right. Yep. Body tunes are going out, and people are loving the fact that the princess is the one singing the dirty music. There are some people who are very definitely having their presuppositions about royalty altered by the time they're spending with Mez, and they're sailors. They're about it, so they launch right into it.
And with her regular 2 perform, she's got some training in this singing thing. So she's like, I got you guys.
Just for fun. It's not really a risk, but let's just see how it goes. Panache, perform.
That is 3 raises.
Yep, it's great. They're having a time, and it's like the boat's dancing too, like the wind and the rate and the waves just catching up as the ship it rides waves and sends the spray, and it's almost like the Cerulean Tides is dancing along with everything else. And smoke, every time you feel it, every time you look around, it's like, yeah, there's something different about the boat now, and it doesn't seem to be going away. But so far it seems to be super useful.
Is Junie up here yet?
Feels familiar. Because Crimson Sparrow is noted to be very fast.
Junie is up there, but he's in the corner, minding his business, not talking to nobody. And then you will see him disappear and then reappear with someone else's drink.
Cass is going to detach from Timothy, head on over to Junie, and literally pull him over to the dancing.
No, I don't dance. You know.
You see. Yes, see.
Shit. No, what? Fine.
See?
Fine. Yeah.
And she's going to.
He actually know how to dance very well.
Zara starts singing in Montaigne.
Oh, you
One or two of the crew join in.
And I'm assuming like there's probably a dance where like people trade partners off and everything. Get one
Oh
of
yeah,
those going.
there's all kinds of stuff like that.
Let's get one of those going.
Got you. Again, another tavern song, this time just a Montagnian one.
Yep, folks are trading in and out of partners. Where Hilda, of course, dives right in. She's in the midst of all of it as well. Braid flashing around behind her and giving a smile to everyone. Seemingly like is giving Juniper his space. Doesn't like shy away when they're partnered up, but then kind of goes on to the next. Just shoots them a smile every now and again as they're moving around and doing their dancing.
After a little bit, Smoke will tap Jonathan out at the helm and tell him to go have some fun as well.
Jonathan actually goes up and gives a dancer's bow to Masara, one that she would find rather familiar. Princess, if I may.
As long as you can keep time.
And he starts stepping into, undeniably, an Aldana step.
And she switches the song, so that way it's perfect for their dance.
Mm-hmm.
Cass is going to have 1 cup of rum.
Oh, there we go. Just for fun.
Oh, uh-huh.
Resolve. And what would be a good one for how she holds her booze?
Nothing good ever comes from the GM saying just for fun.
There's no good skill for this.
Resolve and empathy?
The ability to hold your booze.
I would.
Resolve and sailing.
You know what? I don't hate it. Resolve and sailing. You're drinking on a ship. You've got the waves going around. Resolve and sailing. So, you take the drink.
I have 3 dice left over. None of them can amount to a 10.
You drink. You take the drink, and you like. It's not that your parents are teetotalers. It's just your dad's never really been into it. Your mom, it wasn't her thing. And the parties you went to, by the time you were old enough to really get into the drinking, you were doing other things. And like keeping your head clear and your eyes open was a big part of it. But man, this stuff isn't bad. And you're getting into the party. You're in this, and like the deck has never felt steadier for you. Like you've gotten better at walking this, but you're like, wow, yeah, this is things are going well. You're doing a real good job. You're having a great time. I think you're muted.
Full on speaking Castilian at this point,
Uh-huh.
too. Just, yeah, not speaking common tongue. No, just
for funsies. What would the roll to try and show up Jonathan a little bit be? As they both fall into the ruse.
Yeah, that would be finesse and weaponry. Well, actually, to visually show him up.
No, it's testing out how good he is at this particular.
Okay. So let's go.
It's
let's
the
go
duelist v duelist thing where they're like, so
You're trying to figure out how good he actually is.
yeah.
Let's go then.
I feel like that's wits and empathy.
Wits and weaponry. I would say.
Oh.
Oh,
I know that's a really good one from us.
yeah. It's one of my highest rolls. Let's see. That is 4.
On 4 raises, he is good. And as you're working on there's several levels and layers of the dance. That it's very rare to have Aldana versus Aldana out in the wild, but when you're together in the school, there is always a sense of the dance moves quicker, the beat goes faster, and he is matching you step for step. But you keep going to the next one, you keep going to the next one. And he's right there with you. Until finally you get to the point where you're like, okay, I'm busting out all of the moves. And this is your 4th raise. And he's stepping with you, and then finally starts losing the beat. And
at that last moment, she would pull back.
Mm-hmm. And you can see he's watching you and tilts his head to the side. Well, that's something I wasn't expecting.
No?
There's families within the Aldana, certain dances you can follow. I haven't thought of Edgar in a long time. He taught you well?
And under my father's noses.
Oh, well, no doubt. Taking out every guardsman who caught his eye.
He settled after a little while with Julian.
Julian?
Aye.
I could see him ending up with a Julian.
Considering Julian was my own personal guard, they had plenty of time to talk.
This is why I stay to ships. It's easier. And not as much secrecy as castles. Everyone knows everything.
What is it, worst kept secret in the castle?
It would be. You brought to mind an old friend. Thank you.
If you ever wanted, I could get a hold of him for you.
I'll keep it in mind.
I know he misses it here. He doesn't talk about it, but...
He just smiles and allows the dance to pull him off, and he, as quartermaster, he's also making sure the rest of the crew is fairly engaged and enjoying. And unless anyone else has any other personal business they want to get to,
at some point I do need to pull Juniper aside.
right.
We are avoiding it, all right? But Mez will do it in the dance.
Okay.
So she will grab it where it's a less swapping off dance and more singular.
Mm-hmm.
Just steal them at the end of one dance.
Mm-hmm. Be the next person to swap into his partnership.
All of a sudden, Juniper, there you are, dancing with Masara.
He'll look down. Oh, shit. And try to pass her off as fast as he can.
She just twirls around the pass back into him, like orbiting.
He's like, Fuck! You're like a goddamn boomerang. You just
What's a boomerang?
what's you don't know what the okay, maybe it's just a Montanian thing, huh?
Perhaps.
Okay, and then he'll start. By the way, tangos very nicely. And he's moving along with you and just goes, all right.
I was wrong.
Mm.
I was wrong because I hurt you willingly. Because I asked you to do it. Because I asked you knowing what it would sacrifice when you came back alone.
You know, I could have said no. Question. I said no a number of times.
If there's one thing my father taught me, how to get around people who said no.
And you know, the one thing that my mama taught me is that even if they say no, you still steal the shit and run away.
So neither of us are very good at this then.
Oh fuck no, hell no. Honestly, if it wasn't for Smoke and a dad stare from Kristoff, I probably would have just stayed. And also a very good, helpful talk from Cass. So, look, I'll follow you to death if I need to. I think you deserve that much respect. But the next time I say no, maybe don't try and talk around it.
My father taught me something. That a warrior, a leader, he uses the people around him to get the job done. They're numbers in the end. You're never going to be a number to me, Junie. And whatever comes of this, wherever we end up, the two of us, I have to remember that you're not just a number. And you have to remember that you're worth being more than a number.
No, if you ask someone else, I am a good kisser.
Aye, she told me.
I don't know what to do about that. I kissed a married woman. That's the correction.
Not quite married
a married
yet.
woman kissed me. A night.
Engaged.
What?
Engaged.
Engaged.
Aye. And
So-
you know that nobles have situations all the time, right?
And then he'll look at her. He goes, now my next question is, is that you're a noble? Do you have situations? And he leans in very closely.
So no, because my virtue is my one selling point at this time.
Right.
However, there was my friend Leon, who was merchant noble of Montaigne.
Merchant noble.
His family was well off, but he wasn't actually nobility, but they were right there on the cusp.
This is my first time hearing that, Leon.
She's never
mentions
given a
him
last
from time to time, but
Yeah.
She does not give a last name.
No,
Ever.
Bitch. He just goes.
He does things, and I'm aware of the fact that my father goes to a brothel now and then. Often.
What? Oh, often. So, My next question is it sounds like you're encouraging me to be the Montaigne steak on the side.
Well, really depends on how much you want to risk getting an Eisen sword through your chest.
No, I've gotten myself out of worse. But also, and just keep this between you and me. That was my first kiss.
I haven't had mine yet.
Do you want to? I said
No,
that was a thing that happened. Oh my, they're moving you on now.
No, Next partner.
And with that, with Judy and Mazara suddenly getting very awkward around each other in a moment, we are going to go to a break as the Cerulean Tides sails into the night, the party continuing. We are going to take a quick break. We will be back in 10 minutes. See you then.
Your siblings! No!
And we're back. It has been, let's call it about 4 or 5 days of sailing. And with every day that has passed, the seas have gotten a little bit rougher. The air has gotten a little bit colder as the Cerulean Tides sails well and truly out of the Western Ocean and into the waters of the Maw, a great body of water that separates the northern peninsula of Vestin from the mainland of Thea and Eisen. And ahead, in the distance, as the ship moves through, is an island. An island that does not appear on many charts, but every time it does, it is known as Robin and Insel, or the Island of Seals, as it rides the water and pulls in. There's a very small dock that has been set up. Anything much larger than the Tides would have difficulty pulling up to it, but with Jonathan and Smoke at the command and the weather in pretty good shape, the ship manages to pull up. And standing at the dock before too long after the ship starts coming in is Kristoff, one of your nibblings, Runa Sabine Heller. And why don't you describe what everyone sees as they watch her there?
It would help if I unmuted myself. As we are sailing up on the dock, you all would see a woman, like evidently the rest of the Almost family. Strong stature, though definitely not the warrior's poise and build that where Hilda has. Dressed a little bit more, you would almost say conservatively, though that's kind of hard to say in comparison to full plate armor. She is stout, and the face of a woman that you can simply say, this is somebody who, even in their youth, probably stared down their uncle and his two-handed sword. The family resemblance is strong, but one thing that you immediately notice is that one of her arms is not entirely there. She keeps it not concealed, actually, but a stump about halfway down the forearm that is very obviously displayed, actually, with the marks of both a battle and surgical wound.
As the ship pulls up, she walks forward and is just sort of checking out the various signs, and then first spots Werehilde, who is a difficult figure to miss. I was beginning to wonder if you'd make it in time. Werehilde just laughs and goes, and it's not just me, look who I brought along. And gestures over to Kristoff, and seeing him, Runa goes, Uncle, I was hoping she'd find you.
That was kind of a long bet. I mean, it worked out, but you sent your sister to pick up supplies, and we're just like, hey, maybe grab our uncle on the way?
San Juan was our best guess on where you were. I mean, come on in. And she calls out some folks who come out onto the dock and kind of help tie up the tides. And she kind of catches herself in the midst of family reunion and looks to Smoke and goes, Captain? Welcome to Robin Insel. I am Runa Sabine Heller, and I am sister to Werehilde and niece to Kristoff, and welcome to our colony.
It's good that we made it. Werehilde is an amazing individual, and Kristoff is not so bad himself.
Well, everyone, come in. And what were you able to bring? And Jonathan comes out, and they're able to sort of go over the goods that they have, and she's glad that they're there, but anyone watching can see not like, oh God, we were so desperate for it, but just sort of, okay, then we're fine. And she calls out people and leads the command party, unless anyone remains behind. Jonathan and the NPCs, of course, are happy to deal with that, and leads you into a very nice looking, it's basically a village here on the edge of the island. As you start walking in, you can see various fields that they have growing, all sorts of different, the growing season is well over at this point. It seems like they've had a harvest fairly recently. But you can see a decent amount of cultivated land. The island is rocky. There's a hill up in the center of the island that seems to have some ruins on it. Yes, Kristoff.
Upon getting off the ship, what is the area immediately around like? What's around us?
It's mostly fairly recently erected village, mostly wood. A couple stone structures that look like they might have been repurposed older buildings. There's what you're seeing on the hill is there's a decent number of old ruins up there.
What about the ground? Is it snowing yet? Is it muddy? Is it frozen, rocky? Is there has a rain bloom yet?
It's cold, and this is salt mud. So not a whole lot of growth in this particular part, in the immediate part of the island.
Upon getting off, one of the first things I would have done, and despite what everyone knows about Kristoff's affinity for his kids, let everybody wander ahead because I'm somewhere else for a moment, just kneeling down and a ungloved hand into the soil for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
And probably just absent-mindedly, without even realizing it, picking up a rock or something. And then I'll catch up.
Or just glad to be on land, or more of the home soil, like I'm back near Eisen?
more of the home soil without realizing it. There's definitely, if anybody takes the time to look back at Kristoff, what he's seeing is not what's in front of him right now.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because as you dig your fingers in, Eisen is a tortured land, and the wounds that have inflicted it are legion. The soil is familiar, but it's familiar to a boyhood so far back you can barely remember it. There's been battles here, but not as many, not as severe. You don't, and your Hexenwork background is not, you don't feel the wounds like in the Vale that you have felt in Eisen proper. So it's like Eisen, but pre-war.
Eventually realizing that I'm old manning again, I'll catch up.
Runa is, for her part, taking you all around. She's mostly focusing on Werehilda, just showing some of the builds that they've done. But in the midst, she's showing you, the colony is up. They have homes for everyone. There's some buildings set up for if other people decide that they want to stay. There's a trading post, not much used to this point because they haven't made too much advertisement of where they are until they get a little bit more established. And she's moving and speaking with a very strong. It's clear that she's in the same way that where Hilda walks with a presence that shows that she is used to controlling a room with her presence and with her sword. Runa speaks as someone who's used to controlling a room with her voice. And like you've heard, Mez, you in particular, have heard many household seneschals speak with less, this is how things are going to go because this is how I'm saying it, run the offices of various noble houses. She doesn't have that noble herself air, but one who speaks with authority that has been granted. And
this is a self-made noble.
Mm-hmm.
She's a noble because the people chose her because she can lead.
And she's showing everyone around. I've only been here a couple of years. The original launch team was about 15 strong. Got started on the buildings, got started with the plowing. And then we brought in folks from the various camps. Folks who could do hard work, but folks who also could get along. Folks with families where we could. And first growing season did well for us. And assuming the winter does as well, I think next year we'll be able to bring in more refugees. We'll keep expanding. We've looked into some lands further north on the island as extended housing spaces, and as long as we stay off of the high spots, everything should be okay.
What's the problem with the high spots?
A warning we received when we headed out here. Old ruins that we've been instructed to keep clear of. Old empire and magic that we don't deal much in and would rather continue not dealing much in. And for the moment, it seems to be leaving us alone.
I have to be very smart of you.
The initial crew did take a look around, not touching anything, but just sort of seeing what we were dealing with before we put up a bit of a fence to keep things from any animals or anything wandering up. It definitely seems connected to the sea in some way, but maybe one day we bring in real scholars, but that's years down the line.
Would you like me to take a look at it? I won't touch anything.
A sea captain's expertise would certainly be helpful.
I mean, the worst that could happen is I wouldn't know what it is.
I wouldn't say that's the worst that could happen, but yeah, I'll head up with you.
Assuming I don't touch anything.
She smiles and looks around. So, found another company. That's directed at Kristoff.
I'm really not sure who found who at this point. Now that we're back on land, I'm trying to remember who it is I actually work for at this point. And the only thing I'm certain of at this point is her ex is kind of a mean old bitch.
Verhilda laughs at that and goes, and I can testify to that.
I won't argue even with the foul language.
I can't argue. There's no arguing there. In any case, you guys can keep talking about that one. I'm just gonna go start walking up there.
All right.
I should probably make sure she doesn't accidentally wake something up.
Werhild, you can lead them up there. You've seen around there before. I'm going to make sure all the supplies get put into the warehouses in the way we think it should work. And were you about to say something?
In the way you think it should work, or the way that it's been working?
No, the way that it's been working has been fine, but if we're going to... Eventually, it'll be about trade here, and so getting a system in place sooner rather than later, fewer bad habits to break.
So I'm going to be getting you in contact with someone who's going to be helping you with the numbers and such. She's got a bit of a mind for it.
Oh, excellent. We can certainly use the help. I'm not bad with numbers myself, but another set of eyes always helps.
Aye.
Also, Runa, if you just let Jonathan know, the crew will help you get it where it needs to go to. So,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let me go check out what's going on up there.
We're following her.
All right. Verhild walks
Because you
along.
don't have to go up there.
I'm not going to be touching nothing.
You see, we always say that, and then someone always does something to trigger something else.
Well, yeah,
Usually
because we
it's
always
me.
touch something.
Then that's why you should stay behind.
You know what? Fine.
So who else heading up the mountain?
Everybody
Everyone-
but Mez.
Everyone
Yeah.
but Mez. Okay.
Mez is going to go look at the storehouses and help.
If Mez is staying, then Junie will stay.
This is my first time. This is my first time being so far away from home. I want to look at the site.
Go look at the
Junie will
things.
stay
I'm
with
going to-
Mez.
Who doesn't want to see ancient ruins? Nothing bad ever happens in those.
What?
Verhilda will actually look over her shoulder at Junie and Mez and go, come on up.
Fine.
No, you don't have to.
No, because here's what's going to happen: is one of you are going to find zombies or ghouls or something else that's along those lines, or there are going to be sirens and the like.
No,
Well,
the
you-
sirens were in the water.
The
Then
sirens
what
were
then?
in the water. I was not very fond of
Could be
They did
siren
seem very
ghouls. They might have come up onto shore.
Mm-hmm.
Verhilda holds up her hand and goes, we came here because there aren't ghouls here. If we wanted
You know
ghouls,
what else
we'd
could
have
be
stayed
here?
on the mainland.
Banshees. Banshees like
Banshees.
runes.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't they have caught wind of something by now, though?
Not if anyone hasn't gotten ready to die yet.
Well, that's pretty much a constant state in Eisen, so pretty sure there's no banshees.
Fine, let's go. I don't want to talk about it anymore. If we find a fairy ring or anything of the like, we're not going to be touching it.
all right.
All right, so
All right,
Verhilda
Mr.
leads
Suspicious.
up and starts telling the stories of first coming to the island. There were a few marine monsters who had wandered up on, but they were fairly easily cleared out. And she just sort of talks about some of the old folks on land who talked about the island and kind of old nasty legends that used to surround it. Supposedly, the ruins were in place to kind of hold ancient things at bay, and so it was more the ruins are keeping it safe. We're not sure how that works, so don't mess with it. And that's actually something, Mez, that would be a little bit familiar. Inishmore has multiple sites like it, but not from the old Empire. From Inishmore's own particular history. And you will walk in, and very quickly, so everywhere.
Go to the ruins!
Everywhere on mainland Thea has some ancient ruins. The old Empire covered everything. And often used technology that's been long lost. The sort of thing, and it's kind of fascinating because one of the things the Vatican has always been about is attempting to get back to the old forms of knowledge. One of the reasons that they're trying to move away from sorcery.
We're good.
And so you all have seen this. Cass, this is probably fascinating because all of the old Empire ruins in Castille have just been picked over and moved off to various church places. There's often almost every major cathedral within Castille has some piece of old Empire thing built around it, kind of like the saint relics in the Catholic Church today. And so seeing this relatively untouched, like clearly weathered and beat down, but you all can kind of see, and she leads you in, there is it's clearly not going to keep anything other than like livestock out. It's fairly easy to step over the fence or to step through it, but they're clearly counting on the population just knowing, don't mess with it, we'll do a better wall later for this. And you're all able to step in and Smoke, to give your particular look, you have some special abilities. So how do you want to approach figuring out what's going on here?
Okay, so I have Student of Legends based around Mother Ocean. So if there's a particular monsters or deities that they're trying to keep out that have pictures or things, runes that I would recognize,
Okay.
fall under that.
And that's just a thing you have, right? You don't even roll.
It's just it's just a straight up advantage.
As you're looking things over, you recognize El Tiburon, but it takes you a second because this is the first time you've seen a depiction of El Tiburon with a spear through him, and you get the impression as you're looking at things that these ruins were about holding the wilder elements of deep sea magic back.
Okay.
Specifically, the spear that is through El Tiburon seems to be being held by a siren. And you see some other depictions of what you would guess would be humans meeting with sirens and speaking with sirens. And a lot of stuff is missing. A lot of the walls have collapsed. But there is a real feel of this place. And you're noticing just in sort of the architecture and the way it's built, the main room is big and large and feels like a meeting room. And it doesn't seem like that big of a stretch to guess that the meeting between sirens and humans happened maybe right where you're standing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of it's been weathered, and without touching it, you're getting to the limit of what you're able to just pick up. There's some things you're like, man, if I could just brush here, I'd get a better view of that picture, but stuff is getting grown up over, and you're looking around, and something big happened here. And the idea of humans meeting with sirens and coming out of it with an alliance, there was never any whisper of that around Labuka. Sirens are to be fought. They can be magically manipulated. But parlayed with? That's new.
Well, I mean,
We're very, very old.
yeah. Not every monster is really a monster. We even saw it. And I'll start talking these things out as I'm seeing them and reading them so that Berhilda could like also relay the stuff back down.
Oh, also, there is copious amounts of heather growing in these ruins.
Can I say that Cass, she's not touching anything, but she is drawing, like trying to draw?
Sure.
I'm actually going to pick a piece of heather. Again, that same sort of absent-minded, not entirely in the present sort of way that I've first got on shore.
It is beautiful. It is healthy. You get the impression that it's been so long since anything's been here, even to graze on it, that these heather plants have grown and thrived.
So in having these conversations and noting this, it's like if I had the time and the carefulness, I would want to clear some of this away, if nothing else, to preserve this better. If you have anyone that has a particular skill set with archaeology or a particular affinity with the sea, like a good affinity and respect, you might want to slowly restore this area.
Berhilda smiles and goes, not a whole lot of scholars in our first group, but there is Katerina. She is a wise woman, is the way she sort of behaves. She has a lot of knowledge, especially where the sea is involved. I haven't seen her yet, so she might have gone on a trip to the mainland for something or other, but...
What the hell's your brother doing?
Huh?
Pascal?
Oh. He's offered some help, but he's not here. He's not a part of this particular thing. They're still doing pretty well out east.
Of course.
Someone's got to keep Freiburg standing.
I suppose.
In any case, it's very wise that you guys have kept this as it is. It looks like it's some sort of protection against El Tiburon. You've already heard me speak of him on the ship.
I have. And as you think about that, Salt, you just randomly... You spend a lot of time... Smoke spends a lot of time just like, okay, where's Bruce now?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of glancing.
Wondering where that was going.
You look down, and Bruce is where he was initially placed on you. And you kind of scratch at him, and it's just a tattoo. And you kind of reach back into your thoughts and heads and try to get a sense of, okay, which way is she? And you have no sense of Delphine at all.
Perplexing.
What is?
It's weird.
What?
Ginny, you remember Bruce? How is your arm feeling?
He just he made noises. He's just like, yeah, yeah, I'm all right. It's this is.
Is it just my magic that's being affected right now?
Yeah, so Took, you still have full sense of The ring's the only mark you have active right now, but you're still fully cognizant of the ring. You have not yet noticed any disruption, but then again, the ring's always on you, and so it's kind of hard to make that distinction whether your magic is being similarly affected.
Well, right now my magic seems to be, at its top weirdness, which is normal. So, but I can't really tell unless I use it. So,
Not necessary. I have a feeling that this is a Mother Ocean thing.
right.
Cass is drawing.
Mm-hmm. I would have also been trying to take notes of some sort, because this is interesting. Something I would want to mull over in the cabin as we're traveling.
Am I I know that there's a lot of stuff that's overgrown, but am I capable of kind of just trying to peer and make out?
How close are you getting as you're trying to peer around stems and the like?
I will make sure to keep a good 2 feet between me and any brush.
Okay. Let's go ahead and get let's call it, your call. Finesse or wits with scholarship.
It's the same roll no matter what.
Yeah, but I want to know which one you're doing.
I'm gonna do wits and scholarship, and I get a dice for flair. 2 raises with 1 left over.
Want to sell it?
No.
Okay, 2 raises?
Yes.
Was that 2?
Yes.
Okay. 2 raises, you're getting... There's a couple points you're getting a little bit close as you're doing the thing, but Smoke is right there being like, okay,
And I'm a fighter.
Aware, and so you don't... you're putting stuff together, and this is utterly fascinating to you, Cass. There have been... You have attended the equivalent of Sunday school lectures about this kind of thing in depth, and to have it here, and there's this just sense of power to it as you're starting to put this stuff together and patterns and things. You find yourself off of your design, putting sketches. It feels like this bit of wall that collapsed here would maybe have been like this, or maybe it could have been like this, and you've got a whole thing coming together as you start putting together pieces. But no eureka moments,
but enough to kind of have an idea of what
you have some guesses on what this building might have looked like in its original build form.
So I'm pretty much just got probably 4 or 5 sketches of what it could have looked like.
One thing you are almost certain of is that it never had a ceiling. That it had a wall around it, but was open air from above.
I just show Smoke all the sketches, let her know about the roof.
It would be that way to be able to see the stars.
What about Mez? What's Mez doing?
Mez is making sure she's not touching anything. She's not stepping on any of the heather. She is dancing about, trying not to touch it. She does not like this. This strikes up some familiar tales from when she was a child, and no. We're not going to talk about the things that the druids teach. No.
You're not a little bit curious?
No.
I am.
Aye.
What do you make of that? And the wind that only you feel gently turns your head. And you see what appears to be some sort of table. Or maybe altar. Set a bit away, and none of the party's gone near it yet.
Looks very familiar to the stone tables from home.
Doesn't it?
Doesn't mean I want to be touching it. Much.
Can we take a closer look?
I starts wandering, carefully not stepping on the heather, 'cause she's paranoid about it, and goes to the stone table.
Yeah, you've seen many druid stone tables. Your eldest sister will natter on about them forever if given the opportunity.
Uh-huh.
And other things here have looked familiar to the various sites around Inishmore that you're fully aware of. This is a druidic stone table.
Uh-huh. So this is a thing.
They used it to make power.
You know, they do that. A little bit.
Which
Maybe.
means this place needed power.
Why would this place need power?
Do you want to find out?
Are you going to show me?
How would you power a stone table? How would you generate it?
You touch it, you put something on it.
Probably they brought something to it a lot, right?
Considering that the sea is the closest thing. Or all of the stuff that's here on the ground.
Heather's a powerful reagent.
I'm well aware. I'm going to have to do the thing, aren't I?
It's not my favor,
Of course, it's not your favor.
but you're curious.
I am well aware of the fact. Sarah would know how to do this. Why don't you go bother her?
We haven't been properly introduced.
Fuck. All right.
She just talking to herself over there?
Yeah, I was about to ask you if that loud or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Mez is speaking out loud, and you will watch as Mez walks over and is staring at this table in full stubborn Mez mode, but stubborn Mez who's starting to give up on the argument.
You want to fill us in there?
I grabs Heather and tosses it onto the table.
Oh my fuck.
And you're sitting there yelling at me for starting shit.
So the Heather lands on the table. And nothing happens.
Smiles and goes and puts her hand on top of the Heather on the table.
What the fuck?
The essence that you have gets warm. But not hot, just warm.
Does that?
It's not that easy, lass.
Fuck.
Mez, can you slow down and stop swearing at the rock and let us know what's going on?
I'm with Kristoff. Yeah, what the fuck?
What's her... How's she looking? Like, just other than stubborn Mez mode, which we all are very familiar with by keying in on
This
any
is-
society.
So if this is a terrifying one, it's flustered Mez mode, which is goddamn scary.
It's the... So there's a thing that might be happening right now, Mez mode. And she just wants to know more.
Mez, what are you doing?
So, here's another thing that I need to be telling you just a little bit about. My sister's a druid.
Okay.
Okay.
And this is a druidic table. And there's lots of heather around here, and heather tends to be something of an agent that the druids use.
And why are you throwing the heather at the table?
Because it needs it a tiny bit.
Why do you think it needs it?
Because the place requires power a tiny bit.
Oh, hell no. No, we're not doing that. Salt? Not salt, sorry. Smoke! S name. Smoke. Smoke!
Just need something.
Why? Is it to power it to keep the protections on the island, or is it to power it to knock the protections off?
You know, that's a really good question. I'm not entirely certain of.
So if you don't know that answer, we should probably leave that stuff alone.
How do I do the thing?
Wind picks up, and the heather blows off the table.
All right, then. You're the one who wanted me to do.
Who are you talking to?
Yes, that.
So you see, there's this thing where the wind picked up.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like
And
wind in the sails.
There's the wind in the sails, and it's just kind of lingered about a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And occasionally it just kind of whispers a little bit.
That seemed like less a whisper and more like a quarrel.
We were having a discussion about things. It's all right to be having a discussion. Mostly.
Kristoff, do you want to walk Mez back down to the camp?
That seems like a good idea.
But the table.
Come on, Mez, let's hobble back on down.
But the table.
We'll be there tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where Hilda steps up and goes, whatever power it has, it's still working.
Mm-hmm.
Let's leave
Mostly.
it that way. While my sister and her family are living here.
I suppose that's a good enough point. I apologize about that.
How about this, Mez? I will draw out what it looks like, any symbols that are on it. I'll write them down for you, and you can have
You
it.
don't really have to because it looks exactly like the ones back home.
I want them, Cass.
Okay. And she's just
Right, so we're going back, and I'm not touching the table. Again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to walk Mez back down with the appearance of her holding me up, but using my good arm in all reality to just...
Ensure that she doesn't run back.
Not even that. If you want to run, you will outrun me. That is known. Trying to just offer the comforting grip on the shoulder and like sideways hug type thing. Just let her look like she's carrying me, but I'm basically emotionally trying to carry her.
Or Hilda, it would not be a bad suggestion to restore some of this. It does look like it is for the protection of the island and your family, but you're going to want people that actually understand it. Not just throwing things as she looks down the hill haphazardly, because the wrong kind of sacrifices can have detrimental effects.
I do like the idea of that bloody shark with a spear in it.
Seems like it's calmed Bruce down too. I'll have to figure that out if that's going to be permanent or not.
Cass will point at the shark El Tiburon, and she'll like just look at Smoke. Is that what was whispering to me?
Yeah.
Mm-mm. Looks evil.
He is.
Actually, according to some legends, it might even be worse, where Hilda says.
I
Which
told them as much.
Evil can be understood.
Yeah.
Some things are older than good and evil.
Considering its legend that it's the gateway to hell, except for you don't even get to go. Your soul is stuck there inside his body the entire time. All right, I think I've gotten, unless there's any other roles or anything else you need me to see here.
No, you've all gotten a pretty good look at things, and you have some ideas. Like if you were going to take another look, what you like if you were going to have more time, but who knows?
Yeah.
And you all kind of gather and start heading on. Is Junie getting up to anything?
Okay, better question. Anything? Fucking hate this. Anything curious enough for him to be like, like blood magic? Mostly what looking for.
Give me your wits and notice.
That's what altars are for.
Roll like shit. One raise. Took all of my dice.
You ran up to when Mez was doing stuff around the table, you ran up to her to stop it. Did I read that correctly?
Smoke did that.
Okay, so you're just kind of glancing around, and nothing while you're up there really catches you. But then, as the party is walking down, heading back down, you kind of glance down at the ring, and it occurs to you that some of the etch marks in the stone table were of a somewhat similar pattern to worked designs in your ring.
What? Okay. All right. Cool. Here's you look at the table. Look back at Smoke.
No, you've walked away at this point. You can't look back to verify.
No?
I have the drawing though.
I was going to say, but you were privy to hearing that the drawings were all...
Okay. If he would, he'll flag down Cass and see if he can look at it.
Oh, which one?
And he'll just kind of...
Would she have taken a rubbing of the table, or just kind of sketched its own structure?
I would have sketched the structure and kind of tried to in its own little drawing of the table, and no, I would not have touched it. Drawing of the table, and then I would have tried to draw out what the symbols, if there were any symbols on it or anything.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
there
and
were
this is just sort of a grain a carved grain in the table, and so her sketch is probably not sufficient. All right, and you all are headed back, and watching this weird kind of Junie kind of like glancing over her shoulder, looking at the sketch. It doesn't have what he needs. And everyone going around and the voice whispering from Mez's ear. By the way, I think I might have a name you can use for me.
And what is that?
Cerulean is so pretty.
All right, Cerulean.
No.
And with that, as the party heads back down towards the village, wondering what has happened to the formerly Ice Queen, now suddenly fake crazy Mez, Cass looking at all of these potential designs and all the things that this temple, meeting place, ruin could have been. Juniper full of questions surrounding the ring and why it does what it does, and was that a similar design to what was on the stone table? And Kristoff and Smoke just watching all of this happen and go, gosh, do things ever not just get weirder with everything that we do? with that, we are going to pull it to a close. Thank you so much to the Squirrels of Darkness for hosting us. Thank you to our producer, Dell, and Mootley for everything that you do. We will see you all next week, and scene shifts as night falls over Seal Island, and the sound of the waves and the sound of the villagers talking in the excitement at this last shipment of the season that will almost certainly get them through the winter, in a sense of they've made it, their first year. They're gonna make it. In the midst of all this, a child sneaks out of Runa's house, and looking around very conspiratorially, like a child who knows that they shouldn't be out, but is gonna go meet with someone, and this is super important, sneaks out, looks around, very ostentatiously sneaks, dives behind a barrel, and then heads out onto the edge of the village, and walks out towards a small seaside cave. And walking out, he picks up a small stone and wraps it against the side of the cave in a very specific pattern that he was instructed. Miss Katerina.
Who summons me?
It's, me, Helmuth. You said I should come out and tell you when the people from the boat got back?
Yes, what is the child? Are they here?
They are. They're here. They brought all of the goods and everything, and my great uncle Kristoff, he's with them, like you wanted to know.
Oh, that's excellent news. Thank you for letting me know. Are they on the island yet?
Yes, they're staying here for a little while. I believe Mommy wanted to make sure that they saw everything and wanted them to see what's going on. And I think some of them might even be starting to do business with some of our merchants.
That is news indeed. Where is Kristoff now?
He is in Mom's cabin, I think, with the princess and the sea captain, and they were talking business.
They're all here. All right. Thank you, child. That is not good news, but it is news, and I appreciate you coming back to me. Now, go, run along. Yes.
They also went up to the ruins.
Oh no. Did they touch anything? Did they move anything?
I don't think they moved anything. The princess did touch the table, but nothing happened.
Nothing happened. Yes. All right. Thank you, child. I shall look into this immediately.
Is there going to be any more candy tomorrow?
If you do what you're told, there very well might be. Now, run along. Get back to bed. We don't want anyone to know you're sneaking out.
No. And he smiles and runs off. And the moon comes out from behind the cloud and penetrates the light of the cave, where before only brightly glowing eyes stepped out. And out steps a beautiful woman, dressed in clothes very similar to any of the people living in the village, but her eyes, there's something different about her eyes as they look out over the island towards the small little hamlet of refugees trying to escape the hell of the war in Eisen.
This is not for them. Kristoff, there was a time when you once handed me my skin. Now it's time for me to do the same.